Hello and welcome to the CFO Weekly Smart Money newsletter. Thank you so much for being with me. So, Michael Burry of The Big Short, the famous movie there, reveals a $530 million bet against Tesla. This is very interesting. He has long put options, right? All elite traders utilize the investment vehicle that we do here at Cashflow Options, right? So long put options. He's buying put options against 800,100 shares of Tesla, or 534 million. Wow. So if you have a look at this, you can see that he's actually bought 8,001 put options. Okay, we don't know the value of the options. We don't know the strike price or expiry, but he's certainly buying put options and looking for Tesla to move down. Now, I did a video late last year about the fact that I believe Tesla was going to move down. I gave all of my reasons. A very interesting video. I might actually put that on the YouTube channel if you guys wanted to watch that. Let me know if you do. But that was a very interesting video about me predicting or giving my best educated guess. I hate the word predict. Best educated guess as to why I believed Tesla was going to move down from those highs that we saw in of $900, right? So if you have a look at this, you can see that Tesla, very interestingly, has just broken the 200-day simple moving average on the daily chart. A lot of algorithms will be looking at this. Certainly, it is the line in the sand between bullish and bearish for long-term investors. And as you can see, it hasn't been below this 200-day moving average, this red line here, for a very, very, very long time. So this is something here that's very interesting because we've now broken this. We have a doji here, okay? This candle here is a doji. So we've had a pretty significant move down from highs here of around 780 down to where we are now, 576. So we've certainly been in a downtrend, and now we've got a doji developing just below the 200-day moving average. What's a doji? It's where there's no real body here, okay? So you can see it's opened and closed almost at the same place. Now, the doji in and of itself is not that important. It's what the next candle does. So if this now closes below this doji, you would expect further downside movement in Tesla. If it can now close above with a nice strong green candle and close above the 200, we may see some sort of recovery or bounce off the 200. So this is a very interesting inflection point with Tesla, and we'll certainly have a look. But certainly the put options that Michael has bought are doing very nicely right now. Now, if we have a look at the overall market, always important to have a look at the overall market. We're trading in the overall market. We need to have some sort of viewpoint as to where it's likely to go. Now, if you guys were listening to my newsletter from last week, you can see that I am somewhat bearish on the market. However, I am picking my trades very carefully, and I'll show you some of those in just a moment. So right now, when we look at the SPX, which is the best gauge of the US stock market, you can see right now, using our over 90% accurate opening range method, which is where we select the high and the low of the first trading day of the month, okay, which is, if I just bring this in a little bit here, which is right here, right? The first trading day of May, okay? We set the high and the low. Anything below that is bearish. Anything above that is bullish. Anything in the middle is neutral. So we are still in bearish mode with our over 90% opening range right now. This will be reset when? On the third Friday of the month, which is this Friday coming, the 21st. So on Monday, we'll have a brand new opening range. But right now, the opening range is bearish. Another thing that I told everyone about last week is the correlation between lumber and gold, the ratio between lumber and gold. We know that lumber has been doing very, very well recently. And if you look at these two charts, which are showing 6 months worth of data, you can see that gold is now starting to recover. And gold is breaking out of that long-term downtrend that we had and now starting to sort of move strongly. Nice bull flag there, breaking out to the upside. Now lumber's certainly coming off a little bit. So this is one of the signs that I said to look for the market to potentially start moving down. Lumber down, gold up. This normally, when you see that, lumber down, gold up, that normally shows you the top of the real estate market as well, because you know that lumber is a huge part of housing, certainly in the United States. So this is definitely something that is concerning. If we start to see further downside movement in lumber and gold continuing to move higher, looking like it wants to move higher right now, gold, this could be certainly something else that could bring this market down, right? Now, a couple of the other things that I was mentioning to you last week was the fact that, well, right now, let's have a look at the futures market. It is up, okay? So this is will tell you where the cash market will open. Not substantially, though. Anything more than 1% would be substantial. So right now, it is up, but again, the market's not open for another 4 hours, so we'll see whether that changes. Not really showing us anything significant. But if we have a look here at the amount of stocks that are 50% or more below their 52-week highs, we can see that there's over 1,100 stocks that are more than 50% down off their 52-week highs, right, for the last year. That's pretty significant. And, if you look at, say, 30%, which is still a pretty substantial fall, you can see that there is still a large amount of stocks that are down, been beaten down, right? Almost 2,000 of them. Right now, we're seeing record margin debt, okay? Obviously, there was lows when the pandemic first hit the globe back in late February, and then obviously the market moving significantly higher off those March lows. But since then, we've seen an incredible amount of margin debt come into the market. Sean, what's margin debt? It's where people are borrowing money to buy stocks, right? Look, I tell you what, this is a $100 stock. You give me $50 and the other $50 can be borrowed money, right? And this is really what you tend to see when a market is about to crash too. Record margin debt, around $822 billion of margin has come into the market just recently. So that is something that is of a concern. If we want to measure what the smart money is thinking, we look at the skew, right? It tells us a perceived risk of a 2 standard deviation move or more in the market. In other words, a crash. So right now it's sitting at 138. Anything more than 135 shows the smart money is concerned, very concerned about a market crash. Now, it was as high as 146, so it has come off somewhat, but still, that is in bearish mode. We know right now that hedge funds are selling at record levels. In fact, the most hedge fund selling since records were kept back in 2008. Prices have been going up. Global food prices rise for a 10th month in a row. We can see that prices rose again in April, and they're the highest since mid-2014. So certainly, a lot of things have been moving up pretty dramatically. And, CPI isn't the be-all and end-all, that's for sure. There's a lot of things that it doesn't really cover or track, and not the most accurate way of measuring inflation. But even CPI is up, leaps to 4.2%, the fastest since 2008. So, the Fed is starting to see some inflation come in. Will that continue, or will it be something that's just a temporary thing? That's the question. I do see it continuing for now, right? And this is something that the Fed can't print their way out of. The only way to combat this is to raise rates. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there, but that's certainly putting some pressure on the market as well. Right now we're seeing the market at all-time highs. We're seeing real estate at 17-year highs. The crypto market had an incredible run, has just started to come off that somewhat. My views on Bitcoin is they're facing some headwind. Right now, Bitcoin's fossil fuels that are being used to mine it are being criticized. A lot of companies now, a lot of institutions are saying, how was this Bitcoin mined? Using what type of energy? And this is something that a lot of institutions want to know right now, okay? How's it impacting the environment? And this is something that is a big issue. And you can see here, billionaire Kevin O'Leary, you can see that he will only buy Bitcoin mined with clean energy and none mined in China. I see over the next year or two kinds of coins, he told CNBC. Blood coin from China and clean coin mined in countries that use hydroelectricity, not coal. So this is something that a lot of institutions, not just Kevin O'Leary, but a lot of other institutions are asking, where is it being mined? We know right now that, the big Elon Musk tweet where he was saying the same sort of thing. right? That we want to know where this Bitcoin was mined and how it was mined using what sort of energy source. And this is something that is going to be a big issue going forward. Now, if you look at right now, so if you have a look at, say, gold, right? We're in gold and gold miners. We're actually in gold miners right now, okay? And if you have a look here at GDX, which is the ETF, the Exchange Traded Fund, which tracks gold, right? It's one of the trades that we have on right now. We can see that had a pretty big move up last night, okay? So we're doing very well. We're up about 29% on this trade in a week. So this is a beautiful thing, broken above this significant resistance level now and looking like it wants to get above that 40 level and continue to move up. So GDX is up almost 5%, 4.86% last night. And if you look at GLD, the ETF that tracks gold itself, you can see that gold, while the miners were up almost 5%, gold itself, when we look at the ETF GLD, was only up around 1.16%. So that's why I like to focus on the miners, because they tell us ahead of time what gold is likely to do. Look at the silver miners. They're likely to tell you what silver is going to do. I believe the same thing. Now, just talking about silver, which had a nice move as well, if we look at AG, which is another trade that we have to the upside, and that is doing very, very nicely for us as well. That had an 8.62% move last night. So doing very, very nicely with those trades. But if we look at Bitcoin, a lot of people are asking about this. If you look at Bitcoin, we can look at this index here that tracks it. And my view on Bitcoin right now is we will see a bigger move down, which we've already seen. I've said this for a while. Looking for Bitcoin to move down to around 20, maybe 30,000 before it could then have a move up to 100,000. So I believe there's still potential for it to continue to move down, but then I think we're going to see a pretty impressive move to the upside. Now, if you know how to utilize the power of options, you know how to utilize a whole variety of option strategies around that incredible rise in Bitcoin that I see coming. Not right now, right? But coming in the future, I think you can make incredible amounts of money, as we have with this falling. Because again, if you're looking right now at what's going on with Bitcoin, you can see obviously from this index here that, or this ETF, that it has been moving down. But if you look at some of the Bitcoin stocks, look at this, right? Absolutely crushed from highs here of over $80 down to 15. You look at another one here, BTBT. Again, the Bitcoin miners will give you an idea as to where Bitcoin's going. Same as gold, same as silver. There's another one that has had substantial move down. This is a stock that we have made very, very good money on while it's been moving down, right? This is the beautiful thing about options. We can make money in either direction very, very easily. So you can clearly see that all these Bitcoin mining stocks and these Bitcoin related stocks have had substantial moves down. And that really gave you an idea that a Bitcoin was likely to move down as well. So this is how we were able to position ourselves ahead of time. Okay, Riot right now is down right at its 200. This is very interesting. We'll see what happens here. But certainly I believe in the future we will see an historic rally in Bitcoin, and this is something we want to be prepared for as well. We're going to make a lot of money when that happens. So for me, some of the trades that we had on, or that we have on right now, right, not just talk, what are we actually doing? ATOS is one that I spoke about last week. I told you guys I was going to do this. Bull flag here had a very strong move. It was up over 11% last night. Is there a way, Sean, of you setting up a trade that could make you 32.5% return in 11 days with 23% downside protection? Yes, that's exactly what we did here. If this stock remains above $3 up until this Friday, we will make a 32.5% return in 11 days. with 23% downside protection. That's the power of options. So this particular stock, the reason I decided to sell options on this one, right? I was selling option strategy here. The reason that I decided to do this is because right now, if we look at I volatility, we can see that the implied volatility, this gold line here, is much higher than the blue line, historical volatility. When that happens, options are expensive. So you don't want to be buying options in this case. You want to be selling them. So I set up an option strategy where we were selling options, and we look, if it does remain above $3, to make a 32.5% return in 11 days. What a cracking trade that is. So we're in gold as well. We're in the silver trade AG. We've got another bearish position that we have on is FSLY. This one hasn't really had a substantial move down yet. Okay, we're sitting at about a break even on this one, but we've had a whole range of really good trades. That is not it. FSLY, please. All right, yeah, we've had a whole stack of winning trades this week. Absolutely crushed it. It's been fantastic. So this one here is below the 200, below the 50, below the 21, igniting volume here with a bear flag. Could very easily break out of this bear flag and continue to move down. So, you know, this is definitely something that we want to keep an eye on. We've made a 7.39% return on PLTR in 11 days. ATOS, 32.5% return. GDX, the gold miners, were up 29% on that. AG were up 38% on that particular trade. So absolutely crushing it here with our members at CFO, and plenty of potential yet to come. So we will see what this market gives us, but we are short-term momentum traders that can make money using volatility and understanding where the stock is likely to move next, but always making sure you have built in your risk management. Every trade we do must have asymmetrical risk, where the potential profit is much higher than the risk that we are taking. The minimum trader's equation to make money is 2 to 1. We want to be able to make twice as much profit as what we are risking on the trade. That's a minimum. Many times much higher than that, but that's the minimum for you to be able to make money here. You've really got to be able to, a winning trade should be able to wipe out 3, 4, or more losing trades, right? You can never take large losses. You've got to structure your risk management very importantly and use asymmetrical risk skewed in your favor, and that's really the key to you making incredible money here. Now, if you wanted to go to cashflowoptions.com.au, go to our website. There's a free mini course there that you could go to, and that would really give you just some of the basics about what we do. Obviously, it's much more in depth what we teach our members, but that will give you a good idea about what we do. So go there and actually go through that mini course. It's very, very good. And any suggestions that you've got, any feedback that you've got, send it to support@cashflowoptions with an S, all one word, cashflowoptions.com.au, and let us know. It's been my pleasure to present to you this week. I'll talk to you again next week. My name's Sean Allison. All the best, and bye for now.